This is getting ugly and it's getting messy. And my guess is it's not going to get better.
It's about lying to the court. It's about potential financial gain on the part of Fani Willis. The issue is that her credibility is shot. It's a horrible, horrible look for her. I think this case is dead in the water. Fani Willis lied to the court. It's game over for her. She will be disqualified.
She is the high-profile face of the prosecution against former President Trump in the Georgia election interference case.
Fani, F-A-N-I. Last name is Willis.
But late today, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis herself took the witness stand.
And I've been very anxious to have this conversation with you today. So I ran to the courtroom.
In an often contentious back and forth,
it is a lie. It is a lie.
Willis was pressed about details of her personal relationship with Nathan Wade, who she hired as special prosecutor on the Trump case.
You and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct. And I think in one of your motions you tried to implicate I slept with him at that conference, which I find to be extremely offensive.
Willis's testimony was a shocking twist in a fiery evidentiary hearing that focused on allegations that Willis financially benefited from her personal relationship with Wade in the form of romantic getaways. Allegations first made by Trump co-defendant Michael Roman and his attorney Ashley Merchant in an effort to get Willis removed as prosecutor, a move that would throw the entire Georgia case against Mr. Trump into question.
You think I'm on trial? These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
At issue, who paid for vacations the two took together? Wade and Willis both testified they split costs evenly, or she reimbursed him.
You never wrote him a check?
Ma'am, I don't have checks.
When pressed for evidence, Willis said she used cash.
For many, many years, I have kept money in my house. I don't need anything from a man. A man is not a plan. A man is a companion. And so there was tension always in our relationship, which is why I would give him his money back. I don't need anybody to foot my bills.
Both Wade and Willis have acknowledged a personal relationship. The question, when it began, before or after she hired him on the Trump case in November of 2021. Today, a longtime friend of Willis and former employee testified that relationship started well before then.
You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her?
No doubt.
And later, when pressed by Trump attorney Steve Sadow,
did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
but Willis took exception.
I certainly do not consider her a friend now. I think that she, there's a saying, no good deed goes unpunished, and I think that she betrayed our friendship.
Willis says she and Wade started dating in early 2022 after she hired him. It's the same timeline he swore to in an affidavit and testified to today.
Let's be clear. 2022 was the start of any intimate sexual relationship with the district attorney.
Did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
Miss Yurdy, who was a Fani Willis friend, by the way, worked in the office. She refuted Willis's sworn statement and said that she witnessed them hugging and kissing long before he was hired. But why is that important? Folks, Wade was hired in November of 2021, but both him and Fani Willis have previously asserted under oath in statements that their relationship didn't begin until early 2022. Why is this critical? Because it raised all kinds of ethical questions on whether Nathan Wade was hired for romantic reasons or for professional qualifications. Additionally, Wade has never prosecuted a RICO case, and he still got the job over other qualified candidates who had. It all matters. And from testimony today, it appears that they're both lying. And false statements about a relationship that led to the hiring of the lead prosecutor could and probably will lead to legal jeopardy for DA Fani Willis and Nathan Wade, and could honestly affect the future of their bar license. Essentially, this whole thing would tank the entire case against Donald Trump in Georgia.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
Ever?
Ever.
No.
You've never gone to a cabin with this?
No.
But also, what are the Democrats doing? They should have seen this coming from a mile away. When these accusations first came out, like months ago now, they should have said, hey, Fani, what's the deal? What's the truth? We can get past this. I'm not going to be mad at you. You've had a very high salary for a period of time doing this case. Good for you. But we're going to move you out now because the stakes of this are just too high to let us go down in let it all go down in some tabloid fever dream. And I don't know if Fani Willis is making it difficult for people to shuffle her off to the sidelines and hire new counsel. I don't know if there's some other kind of a sticking point here where it is difficult to find someone who's up to date on the case enough to replace her. Although I would still argue, if you are a professional baseball team, you have a replacement hitter when the first pitcher gets tired, you have someone else come in. If you were in any other context with very high stakes, you have a backup. A president has a VP. There are backups built in the system. She is not a one-woman legal team litigating this case.
And no one's really defending her, by the way. I saw Vatcha Ungar-Sargon, our former co-host, mentioning that she's watching MSNBC, I think, currently, and they're just all tearing Fani Willis apart. There's no one is out there saying, oh, yeah, this is a witch hunt and this is unfair. It's just very clear this was unethical behavior that deserves scrutiny, that he wasn't qualified in the first place. And now we even if it was all above board, he was not necessarily the best choice for it. It's clearly not all above board. This is in addition to accusations, to complaints of drama in their workplace. Multiple whistleblowers want to come forward to speak to ethics issues totally unrelated to her romantic life, involving how public funds were allocated and her awareness of that, potentially retaliating against a whistleblower who brought that issue to the public's attention. So it's very bad.
Now, you said no one's defending her. I will say Fani Willis certainly has defending herself using, I gotta say, what's a pretty gross version of a race card, saying that she is being targeted because she's a black woman and all of these kinds of things. I'm sorry, miss. The woman that you allegedly that came to you as a whistleblower who lost her employment after, I don't know the circumstances of that, but she lost her employment after she came to you as a whistleblower, was also a black woman. And the idea that you're going to try to use your race and gender as a shield against bad behavior that might have also negatively affected other black people and women in your office place, and frankly around the country, if you're reading this as Democrats are reading this, as a case that has democracy itself resting on its shoulders, it's not just about you. It's about millions of people who also happen to have your skin color and your gender identity, who are much more vulnerable than you are, frankly, because they're not people who have these $600,000 salaries to litigate cases at an extremely high level.
Yeah, so gross to get in front of people in that black church and do exactly what you said, make it all about identity politics and how she's being persecuted as a black woman. Really gross example of that kind of thing.
There's actually, there's a lot of left analysis and discourse, by the way, about identity politics that specifically talks about how they call it the PMC, the professional managerial class.
Yeah.
High income earning, upper middle class, and wealthy minorities have really hijacked the discourse around race and privilege and those kinds of things to make it all about basically their HR foibles. Oh, am I going to get to be a partner at the law firm because I'm black or whatever it is, or because I'm a woman? Mm-hmm. And how that has done such a disservice to the core concerns of these demographic groups that overwhelmingly feel that economics are their chief concern, and how that's really hijacked the political discourse and the whole orientation of the Democratic Party to say we're going to do things like make Juneteenth a holiday instead of doing substantive reforms that actually make the working class base of this country, which is disproportionately black and brown and female, actually have more economic parity and equality in the United States of America.
Paint little rainbows on the bombs we're going to drop, that kind of thing.
Exactly. So, it's very disappointing to see this as a leftist. It's disappointing to see this as someone who does think that there's actually a strong legal claim against Donald Trump, in this case in particular, and who is frustrated by this sideshow. What else is there to call it?
I call it entertainment. We'll continue to follow it. I'm sure there will be more developments. We will cover them here at Rising. Thank you for joining us, and we'll have more of our show in just a minute.